Getting started with VueJS and creating your first application is actually very simple. We start on VueJS.org, its official homepage, and there you see this nice Get Started button. Let's click on it. It takes you to the official documentation, which is always worth having a look anyways, but there we want to go to Installation. Now here you got a couple of different options depending on which kind of setup you want to use. Later in this course we will use a more complex setup using Webpack to bundle all our files, but let's start with a simple one. You could either simply download VueJS, I will show this in a later video, or, as I want to do now, simply grab it from a CDN, so import it from another server. Here I'll take the first one and then simply copy this whole link. Now with that we can import this link to get access to VueJS. Well, I want to do this here on JSFiddle, which is kind of a web editor you could say for very simple JavaScript, HTML and CSS only projects. Here we got our HTML section, in which we should add a script import. So let's add script, and then by hitting tab, it will automatically expand it to script tags. There I want to add my source attribute, and now insert the link you just copied. Now you can leave the link like this, or you can remove this version number to always automatically fetch the latest version. With that we imported VueJS and we can now already use it and all its features. So let's use it and build our first little application. For that I want to add a paragraph in which I want to say hello world. Now saying it like this clearly is not very interesting. There is no JavaScript involved at any place. Instead I want to output this through VueJS. Now in order to do so, I will simply go to the JavaScript section here and use the import up there to now use one of the major objects this import, this VueJS framework gives me, the Vue object. Let's create a new instance based on that with the new keyword and then Vue. This gives us a new Vue instance, and Vue instances created like this are the core of each Vue application, of each piece of code you want to use VueJS in. You create such instances, and then these instances have one major job: control their own template of code, of HTML code, which they render to the screen. Now in order to let this Vue instance do this, we have to pass an argument to this constructor function. The argument is a JavaScript object, and there we have one very important property VueJS will recognize: the L property. This is kind of a reserved property, obviously, VueJS will recognize it. And L takes a string as a value, and with this string we set up which part of our HTML code here should be under control of this Vue instance. And with under control, I mean we can then change it through this Vue instance. You will see this in a few seconds. So here I want to control this part, but I want to wrap it in a div, let's say a div which encloses my template for this Vue instance. So here I'll add a div and then hashtag app and then tab automatically gives me a div with the ID app. Now I'll insert my paragraph inside of this div, and then I can select this div with the ID app by using the string like a CSS selector. So with hashtag app, I select the element with the ID app. With dot app, I would select the first element with a class of app. Now here, I therefore have now control of this div. It is now the template of this Vue instance. And now in order to output something, we need some data. Well, VueJS got a special property for this, the data property, another reserved property. And now this isn't a string, it's an object instead. And in there, we store all the data we want to use in this Vue instance. So let's say we want to have a title, and this name is totally up to you, where I say hello world. Now this is the title I want to output in my template. And before I hard-coded it in here, now with this template being under control of VueJS, it's as simple as using this special syntax VueJS will recognize with double curly braces, opening and closing, and in between I can simply write title. And VueJS will automatically look into this data object. As I said, this is a reserved word. Look into this object, find the title property and output it here. If we now hit Control Enter in JSFiddle to see the result, we see hello world on the right because now we're outputting this title through VueJS, which now controls this template.